Hello, hello, hello. Happy Sunday. Let me know who's here. You can drop into the chat, say hello while we wait for a few other people to join. You may hear hey Mia, you may hear my ceiling fan doing some ticking, but I do need the ceiling fan going. So my apologies. If it gets too loud, let me know. I can turn it off. Sometimes when things come over the computer, it's a completely different sound than what we hear, right? Okay, so I'm going to get started with the reading, and this is for the week of, hey, Carolyn, this is for the week of January, oh boy, July 18 to July 24. And we are in the final days of the water sign of Cancer. So I thought for the weekly reading, I would use messages from the mermaids before we move into fiery Leo, right? So this is a good water sign deck. Uh, hey, Kathy, I was watching your Rising Vibes Presence video. How wonderful. Wasn't that the nicest thing? It was the great, and we just sat and chatted while I opened everything. And it was like, wait a minute, there's more in there? One more thing? It was very thoughtful, and I appreciated it a lot. Okay, so let's get started with, I'm going to turn this, messages from the mermaids. And as always, I am starting with general messages. And again, it's for the week of July 18 through July 24. We will be moving into Leo season at the end of the week. I believe it's Friday. Pretty sure. Okay. Kathy, thank you for that. Carolyn, thank you for that message. Wishing Rising Vibes much love and success. Thank you. I'm sure she'll watch the replay if she doesn't jump on the live. Okay. So I'm looking for Wednesday, Thursday here. Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, and we have a highlighting card right here that came out at the top. And so the card at the beginning, just to highlight this whole reading and to really keep in mind, is awareness. Instagram, this is awareness. Backwards awareness, but it's awareness. So let's see how that highlights these cards for this week. But coming to a place of awareness, coming to a place of clarity, and really to get to awareness, truth, we must be able to move our egos to the side. We must be able to quiet the ego so we can get to the truth. We can get to the awareness, right? So let's see how this works. Monday, Tuesday. Truth. Can't make it up. Monday, Tuesday. Truth. That's what I got. Get to the truth. Wednesday, Thursday. Be spontaneous. I do love this card. I love the image on it. Be spontaneous. So Monday, Tuesday, we're coming to a place of truth. We are discovering what the truth is about situations and about ourselves within the situation. And being honest with ourselves about our roles, about our responses, our reactions, our expectations of others, right? Coming to that real place of truth through awareness. And when we can get that clarity, when we can get that precision, that like, okay, that's where we are. Then, middle of the week, we can be spontaneous because we don't have anything clouding us. Do you see? Like, we can be spontaneous because we don't have the things that are sort of hidden underneath, all ego driven, that really maybe aren't even the reality, but that would get in our way of taking action, of moving ahead, of doing something. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we have the future. Oh my gosh. Oh, thank you, cards, for delivering. Hey, Laurie. Thank you for delivering. So we can move ahead and be spontaneous and move forward and take action going toward the future because we have woken up through awareness. We've really come to identify and be honest about things ourselves. So we cleared things out with this truth. We can move ahead with spontaneity. We don't have anything holding us back that isn't real, that isn't what it really is, but instead just our, weird, messed up ways that we get in our own way, right? And then that's what moves us to the future. That's what moves us forward. That's how we move past whatever it is. So, whether it's a situation, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a decision, whatever it is, in order to move forward toward the future, we have got to open up to awareness and get to the truth at the get-go. That's the essence. Get there, and then everything else is just going to roll, right? Doesn't have anything in its way. That was good. That was good. Hey, Cecilia. That was good. Okay. Well, let's get to some cards. If anybody, beautiful cards, fabulous cards for the week. Yes. Yes, those cards. Gah. Yes. Like, weren't they? I mean, what was the first thing I said about awareness was we got to get to the truth. And then that first card was truth and moving ahead and moving us forward. And then we see the future. I mean, it just, yes. So I say thank you to my guides who help channel that message through, that I can deliver that and use the cards as a way to show you that message. So that's pretty awesome. Okay. I am going to ask you that if you liked the cards, if you liked the message, that you give a thumbs up on the video, that you give some hearts. I really want to push my social media engagement to another level, or push it a little bit forward. And so asking you to help me do that, I really appreciate it, because I have zero control over how social media shows my content, right? None. They just decide. But they decide based on what people are doing and saying. And so it's just a help. So I appreciate that. And I do see thumbs up on YouTube. So thank you. I see hearts going up on Instagram. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I do appreciate it. Okay. Carolyn, a general card. Yes. And here's the deal. I have this deck on the table, and I told myself, I think I'm going to use this primarily unless there's something that comes up that requires a different deck. But, and it is the Empowering Questions deck. Somehow my light is weird today. I say my light's weird today, like other days it's not weird. And this deck is all questions. And so it's questions to reflect on and questions to ask yourself, and the question to help you get through the week as well. So let's get a card for Carolyn on what she needs to know and do this week. And it is right here. Okay. What advice on life would I give to myself if I was a mother and wished nothing but happiness for my child? Very hard for you to read, I am sure, but somehow seeing the card, I think, creates a connection. YouTube, this is all Instagram, all backwards for you. So, what advice on life would I give to myself if I was a mother and wished nothing but happiness for my child? Isn't it if I were a mother? Okay. Um, so Carolyn, something to be thinking about, as a mother, what would a mother wish for their child? Right? And that would be you mothering yourself, mothering your inner child, mothering within, so that all of these cards this week, that flow is just going to happen for you, right? Getting to the truth, mothering self, getting to happiness, because that's the truth. But you got to clear out a bunch of stuff. So, what advice would you give? And tell yourself that, talk to yourself about that. That's pretty nice. I like it. Okay. Laurie, I like how each week the deck seemingly selects a theme for us to ponder. I would agree with you. I would agree. It's a pretty consistent message every time it delivers, right? This is the beauty of it. Okay, Mia, I have this deck and haven't seen that card yet. Speaks volumes. Thanks to the gifts of mamas. That's a shout out to my mom, Kathy. Well, and so now Mia, sometimes when I'm pulling cards from a deck and I say, "Oh my gosh, I use this deck and I've never seen that card before." It is funny how some cards just never come out and then they do. So, yeah, interesting card. Okay, did anyone else have a question, or would anyone else like just a general card? Anyone else? Or are we wrapping up? So remember, you can always go back to the beginning of the video to watch the general messages, and those are for July 18 through July 24 using messages from the Mermaids. Nice, nice cards. Laurie would love a card. Okay, Laurie, I am pulling also out of the Empowering Questions deck. So let's get a card for Laurie. Okay. What is the worst that could happen if I let go of things that no longer serve me? It's backwards, I know, but again, connecting with the image. I like how it looks like it's in a picture frame. I like that. So, what is the worst that could happen if I let go of things that no longer serve me? Good question. Like, just ask, okay, here's this thing. I recognize that it's sort of in my way. I recognize that it's making me feel differently than it had before. It's familiar to me, but now I don't feel so comforted by that. So, what should I do about it? And so, asking the question, what's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? And explore that. Explore the scenarios you come up with, right? I chuckle as I often ponder that question. Yeah, and really dive into it, like going to the truth. Really dive into it. What is the worst that could happen? And maybe you'll come up with something that's completely dreadful, but it's going to get you to another place. It's going to get you to a greater understanding about that thing. But maybe you'll come up with something and say, there is nothing wrong with that. Let me just do it, right? But you have to bring yourself to that point. We can't just say, just let it go. Let it go. I say it all the time. But the reality is sometimes to let it go, not sometimes, I would say all the time, you have to get to the place where you can be comfortable and let it go, right? You have to bring yourself to that moment and that awareness and say, okay, this is what I'm doing now. This is what I'm doing. Okay. Okay, Mia, I would appreciate a general card. Themes of trust and taking risks continue arising for me in the past couple of weeks. Not sure if there's a question there, so we'll go with whatever you think. A general card, themes of trust and taking risks continue arising. Trusts and taking risks. Okay. Now you have that deck. So I would say pull yourself a card addressing those two things also out of that deck. I'd start with that. But I also feel called to the power of surrender. Laurie, I'm just nodding as I agree fully. Is that why my phone's going up and down? Okay. Mia, I'm pulling a card from the power of surrender about what is it about this trust and risk? What do we have to get out of the way so that you can better understand this theme that keeps coming up for you? What can bring us that place of clarity? Surrender to your intuition. Tune into your inner voice. Be aware of any gut feelings, flashes, knowings, or aha moments that come through to guide you. So I think this is a great card for you because I know that this is sort of where you live and think anyway, right? But we can get caught up in our heads and we abandon our intuition. We don't listen to the heart so much, right? So this reminder, these themes that are coming up for you is tuning into your inner voice. Why do they keep coming up? What is it? What are you not trusting? What are you not trusting about yourself that these taking risks maybe aren't so apparent to you? Are you doubting your ability to make a good decision? Are you afraid of making a decision because then you have to own the consequence, the outcome, regardless of what it is? Like figure that piece out. But going, I mean, we say it all the time, you have to go within, but this is really, I think, super appropriate for you. And I would say also pick a card from those empowering questions. Okay, Kathy has a question. My husband and I are being interviewed tomorrow by an English bulldog breeder. A general card for this process, please. We've been in a dark funk lately due to the loss of Zola. My husband's name is Mike. Okay. Mia, spot on. Thank you, Noelle. You are welcome. Yeah, that card just like sings for you. Okay, so coming back to Kathy. So Kathy and Mike are in an interview tomorrow and they would like a card for this process. Hey, Rising Vibes. Kathy and Mike would like a card for this process. I do think I'm going to empowering questions. Oops. I'm going to see about this. But I do think this question, what's the card for this process, this interview tomorrow for Kathy and Mike? Right here. Yeah. Okay. What is the most courageous thing I've done? How did it make me feel? What is the most courageous thing I've done? How did it make me feel? We've been in a dark funk lately due to the loss of Zola. That took a lot of courage. What are my best qualities? Instagram, what are my best qualities? So that courage, that decision, the owning of that difficult decision, right, is very, very weighty, very challenging, very heavy, not only on the heart, but on the entire spirit, right? At your dark funk. But it was courage. And so, and we don't even like to say that, right? Like, oh, courage about my job, like, right? Do you follow what I'm saying? But it really was courage because you had another option. You had another avenue to being presented to you, and you chose not to do that. And that took a lot. That took a lot of will. That took a lot of thinking. That took a lot of energy. That took a lot of pain to make that decision. And so, coming back to what are my best qualities? The life you gave her and the ending you gave her, look to that as you go into this interview. That's some important stuff. Strength. Laurie's writing on Instagram. Are you in two places? So those are the cards I have for you, Kathy. Kathy and Mike, both of you. What are your best qualities? You got a lot of them. So yeah, own them. Okay. Tears, perfect reading. Yeah, I felt that. They're right here, believe me. But I really think those are beautiful cards for your interview tomorrow. They bring to me, they bring peace. They bring being able to sit in this interview not as being judged, not as worrying. Are these people going to think that we're worthy? As you know, are they going to want us? These to me bring peace that you can walk in the door and say, this is who we are, and we're here, and we take it whatever direction it goes, but you don't have to prove anything to anyone because what are your best qualities? Laura, you're funny. Two places, more hearts and thumbs up. Thank you. Are they worthy for Kathy and Mike's love? It's a good question, right? Hi, Eduardo. Okay, let's get a card here for rising vibes. Driving but listening. Okay, rising vibes. We will get a card for you. A general card. And rising vibes, I'm pulling for the most part out of this deck empowering questions. But if something tells me to go elsewhere, I will. So a card for rising vibes. What does she need to know and do? Okay, here's your question. Oops, I've got things twisting all over the place. Okay, here's your question, rising vibes. What if everything is as it should be? How would that make me feel? What if everything is as it should be? How would that make me feel? So it comes back to the general reading of awareness and truth, getting to the truth that where you are in this moment, what if everything is as it should be? You know, we can always be wanting something else. We're always, what's the next step? What's the next plan? well, this happened, so then this, right? But what if we just sit with everything's okay as it should be? It doesn't mean it's not challenging. It doesn't mean that we don't have obligations or difficulties. None of that. It doesn't mean that. But can we sit in that energy and just bathe in the question of what if everything's as it should be? And how do I feel about that? Does it make me nervous? If I can say, what if everything is as it should be? Does that bring me some peace of mind? Because I can trust, going back to one of the cards, I can trust that this is how it should be. And I don't have to worry. I'm just going to keep moving. I will face things as they come. I will make the decisions that need to be made. But I don't have to live in a place of worry and fear. I don't have to keep looping into all the ego thing. I can find peace in the way it is right now and just work with what I have. How does that make you feel? So, good questions to explore, I think. Okay. It's a good question. Yes, Laurie, it really is a good question. What if everything is as it should be? Can you can you sit in that thought? Can you bring yourself to just sit with this is right? Can you say that? This is right. Can you sit with that? And what does it make you feel? Okay. Uh, we have Maui visiting. Hello, hello. Eduarda, a card. Yes, yes. And I am pulling a card from Empowering Questions, although it looks like I just shuffled my deck all sideways. I'm one of those people that I read all my cards upright. I don't read in reverse. But if a card comes out in reverse, it's because I twisted around the deck, which really only happens with this little thing. Or B, you really better pay attention to it. But let's get you a card from Empowering Questions. So this is where I'm going today, Empowering Questions. All right, Eduarda. This was Laurie's card, and it came out again. What is the worst that could happen if I let go of things that no longer serve me? I know it's backward for you. But again, I like you to see the card. I like you to see the image and sort of tune into that and then absorb everything that comes from that card. So, Eduardo, what is the worst that could happen if I let go of things that no longer serve me? Again, this deck is really going back to us. It's going back to us and saying we have those answers, just like Mia's card of surrender to intuition. We have those answers. We just have to dig in. We just have to go in and discover them, find them, come to, as the highlighting card for the week is come to that place of awareness and things will become clear. It's work. We have some work for sure. But when we can stop and ask ourselves some of these questions, we take the fear out of it. We take the mystery out. We take all of the power that we have loaded into this stuff. We just keep feeding it all of our power and we give it to it and it becomes this monster. And then it's insurmountable. Well, this is saying, so what's the worst thing that could happen? Okay, that's what I got. Okay. I think I got to all of the questions and requests, so I appreciate everybody being here. If I missed anyone and there's anyone who did want a card, just pop it in quickly. Otherwise, I will be wrapping this up. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up button. I appreciate it. Thank you for all of the hearts on Instagram. Eduarda, that's so true. It's a good question. So yeah, thank you everybody for being here, and please share my content if you think it's appropriate for other people. If you think it's appropriate to invite people to what I do, please feel free to do that. And yeah, I love to spread the word. Kathy, rising vibes, sending you best wishes on your journey. Loved your gifts for Noel. Yes, rising vibes. I showed a video of all my presents. So very excited about them. Okay, everyone, great week as you wrap up this Cancer sun moving into the fire sign of Leo at the end of the week. You'll probably feel a pretty big shift energetically. But thanks everyone for being here. And if you missed the reading at the beginning, you can always go back and watch the replay. The general messages for this week were pretty, I was just going to say dino. I don't know where that came from, but they were dino. So I don't know if that means something to someone, that word, but that just came, and that's not really my word. So somebody sent me that word. There you go. Okay, everyone, have a great week and lots of love. Be well, and I will see you all next Sunday. Yes, next Sunday. Okay, ciao, ciao, and thank you. Ciao, ciao. Thank you.